Good morning, people. Welcome to, I think it's episode 5 now of the Park Lane podcast. It's me, Dave, and I'm joined today by Wynnie for the first time. How are you doing, Wynnie? You all right?
I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's
Yeah.
Saturday morning.
It is.
Unfortunately, we've got no football really to talk about, but I do want to talk about Leicester, Tottenham Leicester, because let's be honest, it's one of those games where before Son come on and scored hattrick, it was a game I thought we could have lost. But what's your kind of thoughts on that game?
Yeah, it was. I think it just kind of just worked out as every Spurs game has so far this season. But maybe, I mean, I would go as far as saying Southampton was probably our most impressive performance, and that was way back at the start of the season. So every performance since then has just been exactly the same. You know, we're allowing teams to press us. We're allowing teams to keep the ball, which is okay, but at home, typically we're the ones that should be keeping the ball and trying to create attacks. But the thoughts on Leicester, I mean, like you touched upon, we very very easily could have been behind at half time, and we were lucky that we wasn't really. But
I mean, I've got to be honest. I am a little bit frustrated with the way we're playing. I mean, Luke, big up Luke, by the way, who has joined us to watch. He can't be here today, but I'm a little bit frustrated by the way we are playing. It's I know Conte likes to defend and he likes to counter and everything else, but when you're at home, you need to have more than 25% possession.
100%.
We're getting into situations where other teams are literally dominating us, and we've been quite fortunate this season as a whole that we haven't come unstuck. Now, Leicester, everybody's been rolling over Leicester.
Yeah.
We made them look like prime Barcelona for 60 minutes.
What do you think it is, though? What do you think it could be?
I don't know. It's like it's a bit weird. It's like when we switch it on, game against Southampton, the prime example, we switched it on. We looked unbelievable. You know, Sonny came on and scored a 13-minute hat-trick, which fair play to Sonny. He needed that. He's been struggling of late, as we know, and I've been one of the ones saying he needs to be benched. But it's just frustrating as a Tottenham fan for every game to go the same way, every game to be the same. You know what you're going to expect, and it was kind of similar to when Jose was in charge.
Yeah.
We knew we were going to get this defensive football with blistering attack at every opportunity.
Yeah,
but I think part of the problem is Conte is unsure of his best 11.
That's true. Yeah,
I think there's a few players that he's kind of like unsure of, if that's probably the right word to use.
Yeah,
I mean, we still got Opus right backs and stuff, but I can't put my finger on it, mate. It does my head in. I can't figure out why it is the way it is. What do you kind of feel that it is?
If I'm honest, I think, and it was touched upon last week on the pod. So the change of formation. Now I know we had a debate about who mentioned the 3-5-2 and who didn't. Do you know?
Definitely Luke.
Yeah. We come to find out that it was definitely Luke's business, that was. But yeah, so I think the change of formation, mate. If you look back to when we changed it and we brought Basuma on, now obviously I'm a massive fan of Basuma. Watched him at Brighton. He was phenomenal. Now when we signed him, I'm thinking this is it. This could be the player to transform our midfield. Now, obviously Conte's got his issues in terms of saying he's tactically inept and he needs to work on that thing. Which is fine, I'm sure he can do that. But when we went to 3 in midfield, I think we looked completely different. We looked like the Tottenham of old, the Tottenham that would get the ball from defence out into midfield, quick turn, out into Kane, into the wings. We looked like a completely different team. Now, I, for one, would be happy if that is what we do to go forward. I think I'd like to see that against Arsenal in our next game. But I think that was when, in particular the Leicester game switched, is when we changed formation. So I think that's where we're going wrong. I think Conte's he's too proud and he wants to stick with his ideas, which is fine, but he's also too rigid and he doesn't want to change his formation. But I think every Spurs fan will be crying out for that now after watching the game last week.
Yeah, Basuma's a weird one. I'm the same as you. I'm a huge Basuma fan, and when we signed him, I was like, "Wow, that's a bargain." And
for so cheap as well.
Yeah, and we've picked a few others to get in him. And obviously, I know Conte said, he's taken him a while to adjust to him tactically, whatever else, like you said. But when he came on, because the cameos he's had this season have been average at best.
Yeah.
But when he came on against Leicester, he was rugged. He was winning the ball back. We were dominating the ball in midfield. I mean, I've always said this with Tottenham. Without Bentancur, we look a mess because he picks the ball up and he plays through the lines. He was outstanding against Leicester. Absolutely brilliant. And I know I give Højbjerg a load of shit a lot because he's not my favourite player. But again, he was a player that also played pretty well against Leicester, again.
Yeah.
But you are right. When we did bring on that extra midfielder, that extra man in midfield, it kind of gave Kane the license to play further up the pitch.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed has been happening in the games we play is we know Kane likes to drop deep, but there's times I'm looking at it and I'm like, why are you on the centre circle?
Yeah.
You've got wingers bombing off around you and you're trotting up on the centre circle. And I do think, yes, I like him dropping deep, but we need him to be a little bit further up the pitch. I'm with you. I think the formation change suited us down to the ground.
Yeah.
I still worry about us defensively. I think we can see too many shit goals. To Davinson Sanchez.
Now, I was waiting for this to come up.
Now, I know we've not had a show together yet, mate, but if you ever watch this channel, you'll know my feelings on Davinson Sanchez.
I'm aware, mate. I'm aware.
He is a professional footballer who cost 46 or 43 million pounds or whatever it may be. I will never know. And everyone bangs on about, we kept 6 clean sheets with him in defence. Yeah, so what? Yeah. He does stuff like that. That penalty.
I know, yeah.
I mean, I played Sunday League, and even I wouldn't dive in there. And I'm looking at him like, what's he doing? The problem was, so let's talk about the goals. So the penalty goal for Leicester. So it's very early on in the game. They started a lot better than us. They were a lot sharper than us.
Yeah.
What actually happened was we gave the ball away in midfield.
Yeah.
And then Sanchez came out of defence and was dived in once, didn't get the ball. Dived in twice, didn't get the ball. Realised he was in out of position when the ball got played through to Barnes, I think it was.
On the side.
Fuck, I need to make a recovery tackle here. Slid in like an absolute imbecile and gave away the penalty. Lloris, he come off his line, but I think that should have been given as a save because he wasn't that far off his line.
No, it's marginal, wasn't it? That does piss me off, but there we go. That's a different story.
Oh, look, let's have some positive. Don't worry, mate. That's coming.
Yeah, don't worry.
We
have to get this out of the way first.
Yeah, we get the bad stuff out of the way so we can talk about the good stuff. That's what I like.
Exactly.
To say. Yeah. But yeah, Davinson Sanchez, he scares me. Whenever I don't know why Romero was on the bench, I found that really weird.
Yeah, I think that I think he likes to set up. It may be. I mean, Romero's good in the air as well. It may be like a physical thing in the air because I don't even know who they played at the back. I know not traditionally Leicester have got big centre backs coming off the corners and stuff.
The guy that looks like David Luiz, who plays just like David Luiz.
Yes, yeah. So maybe that was, or maybe it was because Davinson Sanchez. I mean, look, his one positive trait is he is quite quick. So maybe that's what he thought, but he can't.
He's quite quick, but it's what he does at the end of that pace that worries me.
Oh no, yeah, don't get me wrong. At the end of it is crap, but. That if he's got anything going for him, it's probably his athleticism, probably. But yeah, I mean, it was.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say it was just typical Davinson Sanchez, like you say. He worries me massively. But I think the problem is how do you get a world class defender? Because I think it's going to be Dyer, Romero, and I'd like Longley should stay there for me. That should be our three. To find a world class defender that's going to sit on the bench and come on when needed, it's difficult, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I mean, obviously Conte loves Dyer. I love Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer loves me. I think,
Of course.
that's the way it is with Dyer. But I do feel like we need more cover in that position. I would like to see us chip out Sanchez, but I don't think that's.
I was all for him going. There was talks of him being up for sale in the summer, and I wouldn't be crying if he went. Let's put it that way. But
I'll be popping the champagne, mate. But,
yeah.
Obviously, we got back in the game pretty much straight away. A good corner from Kulusevski, getting me some dream team points as well.
Yeah.
To Kane at the back post, great cross, typical Kane finish, 1-1. And you think, okay, great, we're back in. We're going to push on from this moment forward. And then I think who got the second goal?
It was it was Dyer, wasn't it?
Dyer, yeah. So then Eric Dyer, it was Dyer. It was literally a minute or so later, and you're like, wow, here we go. We're kicking on now. Dyer from a corner, getting in front of that defender on the front post, flicking it over the top of Danny Ward, who then made an absolutely spectacular save from Sanchez.
Yeah. It's a weird one. He's a weird keeper, he is, by the way. Let me just say. I can't work him out. Like he's shipping untold goals every game, and looks like, no disrespect to him, but he looks like a Sunday League goalkeeper.
He's tiny.
And then all of a sudden he'll pull off a worldy save, but that's by the by.
And then again, I've got a comment on the defending again. Luke's gonna be sat there watching this like, oh my God, you're absolutely battering the players. But their second goal comes from a crossfield ball.
Yeah.
That Sessegnon should just head away. He has to be stronger in that moment. He cannot let himself be bullied. Who was it that bullied him? Was it Castagna?
Possibly, yeah. He's on that. That was a battle on that side, yeah.
Who literally bullied him in the air and then whipped it into Maddison, and fair play to Maddison. That's an unbelievable
great finish. Yeah.
But it shouldn't have even got there. It should have been dealt with by Sessegnon nice and early. Fullback positions worry me because, again, my thoughts on Emerson. My thoughts. I'm not.
We share the same thoughts on him. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm ringing. Yeah, I'm not an Emerson fan.
No.
But I didn't think he played that badly, to be honest. When he did finally come on, but Sessegnon was too weak. I didn't really like Perisic at right wing back. I didn't really understand the thought process behind that. So that was
because that was something I put down that we could talk about, because that was like a drastic change, wasn't it? Like I said, we talked about it again before, me and you yourself with Luke. Perisic right back and Sess left back. Does that, because they were talking about new set piece coach doing bits. Yeah, so it was one of them where we've been crying out for it for that was a dog, sorry. We've been crying out for it for a while, I think. Just someone on that right hand side that can be creative, because we get in such good positions, as Royale in particular. Excuse me, 2 seconds.
I'll carry on what you're saying anyway. So we do get into good positions, and the problem is we have a right wing back that can't cross the ball. And the problem with him not being able to cross the ball is we don't create goals. I'm guessing you were going to say, Winnie, you were saying about getting good crossing positions.
Yeah. So we get in such good crossing positions, and then I've seen there was was it against Sporting?
Oh man, I know exactly what you're saying. We just chipped the ball to the keeper.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that.
And walked away. Yeah, he's very, very frustrating. But one person, like I said to you before, I thought Bentancur was excellent. The third goal was all him. That press, that high press. That's what I feel like we need to do. It's that high press, that high intensity, that getting after the ball. It's kind of like the Pep style, isn't it? Where you lose. It
works, yeah.
Yeah, and you get at it. I mean, that obviously caused a mistake, and then Bentancur rocked in to make it 3-2. And at that point, you're thinking, if you looked from the outside, I think this is a really close game. But it wasn't. Leicester were better than us up to that point.
Totally agree.
Well, obviously, the man of the hour, Son Heungmin.
What a player.
Unbelievable. He must have been sat on that bench thinking, oh my God, what's going on? And I mean, there's commentary saying, how confident is he? And Son's picked up the ball on the halfway line. That first goal, oh my God, what a finish.
It was Son, wasn't it? It was typical Son.
Yeah, unbelievable. And then obviously the next finish was the left foot.
Yep.
Which is exactly the same as the goal he scored against Leicester last season.
Yeah, I've seen that clip. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like side by side. They're identical, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then to get a hat-trick in 13 minutes, for his confidence, that must be unbelievable because he's really struggled this season. He's had a lot of unfair abuse. The guy who won the Golden Boot last year,
I know.
he started this season. So people got short memories. Kane never started in August and September. He never really got going until October, November time. Sonny's kind of done the same. He's been a bit quiet. Obviously, he's got competition for his place now, which can make it a little bit more difficult on you. But he's back. You know, the signing of the summer, Gabriel Jesus, has scored 4 goals. Sonny's just scored 3 now.
In one game, behind him, in 13 minutes.
I mean, no one's catching Haaland. That guy's a freak, but
he's scary. Yeah, he's not real.
But yeah, no, I was really happy for him, and you can see the reaction from the other players, how much everyone loves Son, and from Conte, how much they love Son. I do feel like we've got a good team cohesion, a good team bond these days. This doesn't seem like a fractured dressing room, which is going to make a massive difference. I
think it's reminiscent of when we had Pochettino. Now, I don't know about everyone else's thoughts on Pochettino. I was a massive fan of him, and purely because of what he brought to the team in terms of like this cohesion, like you said. You'd see clips of them in training, and they'd all be laughing and joking, and it looked. And I think someone said, I can't remember who it was. It was one of the players. It was someone like a Jan Vertonghen or a Alderweireld. He said it was like coming in with your mates every day.
Yeah.
Now that must be huge. Like, this is his job. Like, he's getting paid to do this, but he's treating it as though he's coming in to play with his mates. So, like you say, that kind of cohesion, it does seem to be reminiscent of then and what we've got now. So maybe that's a positive. There you go, Luke.
Yeah, there we go, Luke. There's a positive. No, I agree with you completely, but I do want to touch on a negative now very quickly, but it's not a negative. No. It's not a negative about Tottenham. Now, I don't know if you've seen it. People saying Conte out.
Yes. Unfortunately, so yeah.
I'm just going to say now, looking directly at the camera, if you are saying that, you are a fucking idiot. Now, the reality of it is, Antonio Conte is a born winner. Yes, we don't look great at the moment, but we haven't dropped any points in terms of we haven't lost any games. We are the only other unbeaten team in the Premier League alongside Man City. Yes, we've got a huge game coming up. Football isn't great. What about when it clicks? If we haven't lost hardly any games and then it clicks, you can't argue with that, can you? So all this Conte out stuff needs to stop. If you're saying Conte out, you're a fool. We have been in a position of, I mean, I've been a Tottenham fan for 30 odd years, and I've seen us win 2 trophies.
Yeah,
you know, so it's not fun. It's not easy. Now, I really think, yeah, spot on, Luke. It's a lot of people on Twitter. I've seen a Conte out hashtag. If you just search the hashtag, you'll find that yourself. I just think that the past that we've had, the history that we've had as a club as being the bridesmaids, never the bride. I think you need to just remember who we are.
Yeah, totally.
You know, remember what sort of club we are, how much success we've actually had. We've got a natural born winner. If he can't win us a trophy, you know, I don't even think Brian Clough would win us a trophy. You know? So it's one of those ones. But so all you Conte out fools, please stop it, because you make yourself look silly. Every day there's a new rumour he's going back to Juventus.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
he wants to go here. He wants to go there. People forgetting that it's not Conte who has an option for an extra year. It's Tottenham.
Exactly.
The club have the option. The club can say to him, no, we want you for another year. What's he going to do? Walk away? Bridge contract? It's not likely to happen. I do feel like, going back to the Pochettino, that he's kind of our next step. We end up going, yeah. After the Conte period, but I hope not. I hope Conte stays for a very, very long time.
I can see if we do what Conte wants, I can see Conte being one of our, you know, most successful managers of this, you know, the current era. I do think if we, you know, it seems as though we're doing it like that Udogie who we've brought, who's gone back to Italy. He looks brilliant, by the way. I've watched him a couple of times.
Yeah,
he looks phenomenal. He looks perfect for the system we play. He looks like he almost looks a bit like Cess, but you know,
Danny
a little
Rose
bit more.
sorry.
Yeah,
Can he
exactly.
over his
So
prime?
exactly that. So if we can, and do you know what? I'm watching Spence. I know I've watched him at Forest. I haven't unfortunately really got to see him in a Spurs shirt yet, but he looks like he could be someone who will kind of transform that defence as well. So
Yeah.
having Udogie on the left wing back, Spence on the right wing back could be the future of Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, and then obviously we've got players like Malang Sarr.
Yeah.
Is it Malang Sarr? Is that nice? Mata Sarr.
Pape Mata Sarr, yeah.
You know, he's another player for the future. I know Brian Hill.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going to happen with him, but you know, I do think he needs to go out on loan to a championship club to get minutes in the English league. But no, the future's bright, mate. The future does look. The future is great. The future's orange, as I would say. But you know, I want some positivity for Tottenham. Yes, we haven't clicked yet, and the performances haven't been great. But when we do click, you can see that when we do click in patches, that we look great. I mean, I listen to Talk Sport quite a lot, and there's a presenter called Hugh Wozencroft, who I can't stand, by the way. I think his opinions are shocking. But he was saying that he thinks Tottenham fans should be disappointed with this season. And I'm like, no, we shouldn't. Yes, the performances haven't been great, but we're unbeaten. What, we're 7 games in now?
Any Spurs fan, sorry to cut in, any Spurs fan that is disappointed at sitting second, third in the league after this many games needs to have a long, hard look at yourself, because
you really wobble. That's what I said. If I'd said to you before the season started, after 7 games, we're going into a North London derby, unbeaten, sitting second or third in the table.
Thank you
bite
very
my
much.
arm off for it. You'd have bitten my arm off.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the way it is. But all in all, it wasn't a great performance against Leicester. There is definitely room for improvement. Sonny got his hat trick. Sonny is back. That's all we can really, really ask for.
And he needed it, like you say. No, exactly what you said. Like, I think the main touching point was the Sonny thing. It's exactly what he needed. One thing I will say, the only problem is we've talked about the change of formation. So the 3-5-2, so the 3 midfielders and then the two up top.
Yeah.
The only issue with that is that leaves 2 strikers.
Yeah.
We're now blessed with 4 forwards that we can use that are pretty fucking good. So what do we do in that situation? Do you know what I mean? Do we play Sonny and Kane, which would be the normal 2 we play, but then we're leaving out Kulusevski and also Richarlison? That would be the issue.
I think to be a big club, you have to think and play like a big club.
Yeah.
Manchester City have Haaland, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Foden, Grealish. Obviously, they had Sterling, but now they've got Alvarez. You know, they've got 6 odd players for really 2 or 3 positions.
Yeah.
Now, probably less than that, because Haaland's going to play it all the time. So for 2 positions, really, they've got 5 extra players.
Yeah.
You have to be a big club. You have to think like a big club. You have to look at it and go, this is a squad game. The amount of games we have with the Champions League, the amount of games we have with the League Cup, the FA Cup, players getting injured, you have to have that depth. It's nice to see us have that depth. I mean, I can't remember the last time we had more than 1 option up front.
No, neither can I, mate.
I mean, we've tried in the past with what's that kid's name? He's now at Fulham.
Vinicius,
yeah. Before that, it was Llorente. You know, and then before that,
Vincent Janssen.
That's what I mean. So you have to go back to the Adebayor, Defoe, Pavlyuchenko, Robbie Keane days for the last time we had really 4 options for 2 spots.
Of course.
Or 1 spot, as it may be. So yeah, it's nice. You've got to think like a big club. You have to be like the big teams and have depth in your squad. And if you don't have depth, then you're going to be in trouble when the fixtures come thick and fast. I think we've got 11. What is it? We've got 4 fixtures in 11 days or something like that.
It's crazy.
7 a month or something like that. We've got a lot coming up, so we're going to need everybody. You need everybody working, pulling in the same direction. You know. So yeah, no, I don't think that's a problem. I think you've got to think like a big team. I do want to touch very quickly. I know we're going to do a show on it next week, but I want to get your thoughts moving forward to the North London derby.
Yeah.
Obviously away at the Emirates. What's your what are you hoping for? What are you hoping to see?
I'm one of these Spurs fans that I probably shouldn't think like this, but it's always worst case scenario. So if you was to sit here and offer me a point now, would I take it? Yes, I probably would. Again, that's just the way I think. But there's no reason why this current squad that we've got and the form that we're in. I know the performances haven't been amazing, but the form we're in, there's no reason why we shouldn't go up there and win. I'm not convinced by their defense. Yes, going forward they look okay, but to me they are still the typical. They've got Saliba who looks decent.
He's a beast.
Yeah. He is good, but other than that, I'm not worried by anyone at their defense. And if, let's say, whatever formation we play, if we've got Son, we've got Kane, we've got Kulusevski, we've got Richarlison, we should murder their defense.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take a draw as well. I'd take a 1-1 right now, just to stay unbeaten again, and just to take points off them. I'd love that. Obviously, I want us to win. Obviously they got a new dynamic now with Jesus up front. You know, he hasn't really set the world alight though. He scored 4 goals, but he hasn't. He started off like a rocket, and you were like, "Wow, look at this! He's unbelievable." But he's kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, going to the Emirates is never easy for us.
No,
we don't particularly have a great record there. We do well at home against Arsenal, but not great away. So I'd take a draw all day long. If you offer me a 1-1 draw now, which I generally think it'll be a 1-1 or a 2-2 draw, I think it'll be quite a low-scoring game. Obviously, 2-2 draw is not a low-scoring game, but I think it'll be like a lower-scoring game. But I'd take a draw. But we're going to cover more on that when Luke's back next week. Next Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, North London Derby talk. It's on. So tune in for that. Now, I want to go left field a little bit here. I know we are a Tottenham show, but I have to touch on England. I've got to speak about Southgate. Now, where do we start with England? I know, like I said, we are a Tottenham show, but we are proud Englishmen. We are proud of our country.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I put a tweet out last night asking when can we sack Southgate? The reality of Southgate is, and people bang on about him being our most successful manager in 50 years, whatever else. The guy cost us a World Cup final because of his shocking tactics.
Yeah.
The guy cost us a Euros because of his tactics and his lack of ambition moving forward.
Yeah.
He has a pool of attacking talent better than, well, as good as every country in the world.
So good. So
good.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it, mate. It's phenomenal.
We are in a Nations League group and we have just been relegated to Pot B. I saw another tweet last night. England are one of 2 countries to not score an open play goal in this season's Nations League. Do you know who the other team is?
Go on.
San Marino.
I don't
want to bang on about England, but I'm just saying we're sleepwalking into a World Cup with Iran, USA, and Wales in our group. I don't think we're going to get out of the group at this rate. What kind of your thoughts on England? Where's your head at?
I think he doesn't really know what his best team is, if that makes sense. Or well, he thinks he knows what it is. It'll be, the likes of Mason Mount, who's not particularly having a great season. I know for a fact, come the World Cup, if Mount is still having a particularly poor season for his standards, he will be one of the first names on the team sheet. Harry Maguire, he is absolute dog shit for his club. There's you don't have to be a magician to work that out. Like, he is absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
But he will be the first name on the sheet come the World Cup. This is the problem. He's got too many favourites, too many people that, and to be fair, to his credit, Maguire has probably never let him down for his country. But you've still got to look at, and I heard something on the radio yesterday saying, if you're having a bad time with your club, the international break can be like a breath of fresh air. You can come away and be like a new player. But in the back of his head, Maguire's still going to know that he is playing shit. And that's the problem.
Everyone talks about Maguire not letting England down. I couldn't give a shit whether he lets England down or not, to be honest. I couldn't care less. Gareth Southgate made this big song and dance about how he was going to pick players on form when he first took the job. Players on form get in the team. Max Tillman at Wolves has been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can't get a look in. Ivan Toney got selected, left out the squad for the easiest of the 2 games.
Yeah.
No idea why. He's picking players like Shaw, Maguire, even Chilwell to an extent because he's barely played, who you can't get a sniff at the clubs they're at, can't get any game time, but he expects them to be our first choice centre back in Maguire's case, coming into a World Cup because he's never let us down before. Like the logic behind that, I literally sit there and I'm like, it's barking mad. I can't understand it. It's honestly bonkers.
But I do think that's his problem. He's too loyal to the players that are loyal to him.
Stubborn.
Yeah, stubborn. Yeah, exactly that.
More worryingly, I was listening to post-match interviews yesterday, and I don't know what game he was watching. He was talking about how we dominated the game, we dominated the team,
right?
And I'm sitting there thinking, we didn't dominate shit.
No.
Like, I remember us having one chance really with Kane, like the 77th minute or something like that.
Yeah, I know.
Before that, they battered us. They took the piss out of us by even bringing on aging players to play 15 minutes.
That's been the thing with this whole Nations League group. To be honest, I think we haven't looked convincing in a very long time.
Well, I mean, Hungary's absolutely battered. I mean, I kind of look at June when we lost to Hungary.
Yeah.
I kind of look at June and I was like, okay, maybe it's the blip in the road kind of thing. But I've never really been a huge Southgate lover. And it does give me, I don't know how old you are, Willie, but it gives me Kevin Keegan vibes of when he left the job. It gives me those sort of vibes. And Steve McLaren, when it starts to go sour, it really starts to go sour. So I think we are coming to the end of that cycle with Southgate. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, I don't care what anybody says, it's an era of failure again, because we should have won Euros. We should have got to the World Cup final. We had the easiest running ever to get to a World Cup, and we played so poorly in that. We had to beat Colombia on penalties. You know, again, the Euros, we got extremely lucky. You know, in the Denmark game, for example, we were lucky in that game. Yeah, we played well against Germany, but we sleptwalked our way to a final through an easy route, and then came up against an aging Italy side.
They were there for the taking, mate. I know. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah.
Instead of pressing on and pushing on, Southgate's like, no, let's sit and hold on to what we got. The inevitable happens. Saka lets his country down. We lose the Euros. Another thing about Saka, how the hell has he won England's Player of the Year? The guy's had like no assists, no goals at all. The only thing
I saw that the other day
is miss a penalty, but I'm not going to get on to Saka. That's for next week's show.
Exactly.
But yeah, what's your hopes for the World Cup? What do you think we're going to do?
Again, I like to be a bit pessimistic first, because I always, you set your bar low, and then anything above that is good. I would expect us, with the squad we've got, to be reaching at least a semi-final.
Yeah.
We have to. I know it's a bit different.
I know you expect that, but what do you think we'll reach?
It depends if we have a kick up the arse. If we don't, if we carry on this form, I can't see us getting out the group.
Yeah, I can't either. That's tragic to even say that, isn't it?
I mean, and we have got a very no disrespect to the teams in it, but it's a very poor group for our standards. We should be smashing that group.
We should be getting 9 points.
Easy. We should be smashing that group. But I mean, recent performances have shown that maybe we're not as good as we think we are. But no, realistically, I think we will probably get out the group. We'll probably scrape out of the group. And then we will come up against someone half decent, and they'll probably knock us out in the next round.
Or something like that, and then we'll be out of it. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it's curtains for Southgate. I think his time's up. But this is a Tottenham show, so I don't want to bang on about England much longer.
But what I did see, I saw on Twitter yesterday, Pochettino for England.
I'll take that.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I'll take that all day long. I'll take that.
Conte in my club side and Pochettino in my country. I'll take that all day long.
I think that's pretty much it for today, mate. There's not really much we can really go over. It was only going to be a short, quick show.
Yeah.
Obviously, next week's a big one. North London derby. Wynnie, how can people find you? Are you on your socials?
Yeah, so Wynnie1991 on Twitter. since doing this, I've tried to post a bit more football related stuff. Just try and interact with people. So just go there, check me out, and if you disagree, let me know with some of the things I put on there, or if you agree, then let me know as well.
We're always up for a debate on this channel.
Exactly.
You know, you can find me, Park Lane Pod Dave. I'll be back next week with Luke and Winnie, previewing the North London derby. Yeah, other than that, I hope you all have a good week. Enjoy yourselves, and come on, you Spurs.
Spurs.